the planet is not only for us, it's for other generation as well. So we are responsible. If every brand think about this, we will have a really better life.
What about the price of these kind of products? Because they're usually going to be higher price because of higher costs.
So let's suppose that you couldn't go to the UK, but you were there in Iran and you wanted to start a business. Hi everyone, here it's Simone and Andrea. We are here today with Dina Bahrami.
So you were born in Iran, where you did your uni education, at least for your undergrad, in medicinal and pharmaceutical chemistry. Then moved to the UK for a master at the University of Warwick in medical biotech and business management.
Yes.
And earlier this year, you founded NutriBeauties, that wants to, and I quote, illuminate your own natural beauty from inside out in a healthy and sustainable manner by creating edible and sustainable beauty supplements.
You are really, really young and you are already an entrepreneur. Have you ever felt like your age could be an obstacle for what you're doing for your work?
I can say age can be an obstacle for you unless you have it as a barrier in your mind. So you think, I'm young, maybe the society wouldn't accept me. So it is something in your head. If you have it in your head, you feel like, okay, there's an obstacle for you because you're young. But actually for me, it's never been a problem. So I never felt like because I'm young, I can't go into different panels, I can't win the competitions because maybe they don't trust me because I'm young. No, it's something in your head. And I always believed in myself. And I always had this in my mind that it doesn't matter how old I am, but I can have that influence in any panels that I'm going through and on my customers as well. So it really depends on yourself. And in my case, it never been a problem, but I always wished I could be older to gain more experience and bring it into the business.
Aren't you afraid of not being able to do so once you've started working for yourself? So I wouldn't know, personally, I wouldn't know whether if I'd be able to go back and forth between working for myself, working for someone else, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it really depends on in which stage are you. So I'm in the product development stage at the moment. So and as we are working virtually, I was thinking that maybe in this period of time, I can work for someone else once I'm working virtually and, remotely, and I'm not at office and I don't need to be with my team. So I can work for someone else as well. And on the product development stage, you're basically doing a lot of research and you're asking some other manufacturer or R&D suppliers to help you with that. So you're not doing everything by yourself. So there are many other people who are supporting you. So you don't need to have all the concentration on your business. There are other people who are supporting you with that. So this is why in some point I understood that I really need to build a team, because I was doing everything by myself, because I was like, I'm more confident to do everything because I know what I want. But in some point you should actually trust the other people and trust their experience to bring those experience in your business and help you with that. Then you're not the only person who's doing everything. You're dividing the tasks. Then you will have more time to actually work for someone else to gain some experiences. But I think working for some other startups who has the similar mission to mine or similar products to mine would be really helpful. But if I work for some other organization which has nothing to do with my own business, I believe it will be a waste of time.
Do you think your background and your education has given you the skills to become an entrepreneur, or did it give you, let's say, the theoretical background to be an entrepreneur?
So in my bachelor, I had a completely science-related, course. So it was all about designing drugs and pharmaceuticals and medicines. And once I started my master degree in medical biotechnology and business management, which was a business-related and science-related course, I was like, okay, maybe that science background in my bachelor was just a waste of time. I studied chemistry, which will never help me in my business. And once I did my master, I really knew that I'm more interested in the business side of my course rather than the science behind it. But in some points, when you're creating a product, for example, in my business, I can say it is more related to that because I'm designing a product by myself. And now I can see those, science, which I learned in my bachelor and in my master actually is helping me. So all those things that you think it will never help me will help you in some point. So those, experiences that you gain in your bachelor, even if it's not really related to business, business, it will help you once you're doing research for developing a product and formulating something. So I can say, actually, if you're studying anything, you can be an entrepreneur because those knowledge will help you. But for sure, you need to have some basic knowledge of business. You really need to, even if you're not going to a master degree, like doing MBA or doing master in business management, but you really need to do a lot of study. You need to read a lot of books or study about the journey of other entrepreneurs. Read books, listen to audiobooks, taking some courses, or go to many events to know different people and know how they're tackling with the business. So you really need to have the knowledge. I can say with no knowledge you can be an entrepreneur, but actually being an entrepreneur is a little bit of a skill by itself. So everyone can be an entrepreneur if they're really passionate about, having other employees on the board and designing something, do branding. You can do that, but definitely you need some knowledge that you can always gain it. So I think business is something that you will be an expert in it by the time once you experience it. So it's not about just reading a book, actually it's about doing something. So once you start doing something, you face a problem, you go out there, ask for help, you read a book how to solve it, and then you learn about it. So you shouldn't be an expert in business to start a business and being an entrepreneur, but throughout the journey you will learn and you will gain those experiences.
Does that mean, though, that, let's say, the university won't push you into the business side, let's say, and teach you how to do business and not just how businesses work? Because we had that conversation with another interview that we had on the role of any kind of degree into the business world, because there's usually what people say, the university won't teach you, again, how to do business, how to talk to your boss, how to negotiate contracts. They would just teach you what contracts are, and it's not going to give you. So there's kind of detachment between the working world and the university world. Do you feel like, did you experience that as well, even though you're just in the first stages of your business?
Yes, I mean, at Warwick, they really taught us the basic things, but they actually pushed us to do a lot of teamwork, to present many presentations, like for our business strategy courses, for our marketing, for our entrepreneurship and commercialization course. So they actually taught us how to work on a group and bring those lessons to actually doing something. So it was helpful, but it will never be like working in a business. So once you're working, you will really face a real problem, and you will actually go out there to see how I can solve those problems. And you will have mentors that they are going to guide you and lead you through the other stage of the business. So you're learning something at university, but it's not all the knowledge you need. Actually, you should go out there, be in the atmosphere of the business to see what are the obstacles, what are the plus points and drawbacks of the business, and learn from those things. You shouldn't actually necessarily just gain those experience by being in the business. Actually, as I told you can read about the obstacles that other people face. As you're creating these videos, you will help your audience to see what was the entrepreneurial journey of each entrepreneur, what was the problems they had and how they solved it, and they can reach to those entrepreneurs and ask them more questions. So this is how actually you can learn by the time, because so it's just like a circle and everything is just well connected to each other, and you shouldn't stop learning because you are learning through the journey, but you shouldn't feel like, okay, now I know all I needed to know about marketing, because it's not the end of the story. You should always learn through the journey.
So it's a kind of risky path when you decide to become an entrepreneur. It's not an easy way to find your job. How can you be so sure that that is the right path for you?
Actually, I think you should be really in love with what you're doing, because it's a hard thing to do. Everyone is just mostly work for someone in a specific role. But as an entrepreneur, you're working with many people and you have a responsibility to support your team and your customers. You should basically make everyone to be satisfied with their job and with the product and the service that you're giving them as a customer. So yes, it is sometimes very stressful. You are busy, you don't have a 9-to-5 job because you're doing a lot of research, you're working all the time. Maybe sometimes people are sleeping, they go to travel, but you're still thinking, you're still working, you're still tackling the problems. So it is not an easy thing to do. But with the hope that I can actually provide a good service and a product to customers, I can be helpful for my environment, it will always make you to be ambitious about what you're doing. So it is stressful sometimes, and it is risky, as you said, because it would be much easier if you apply for a job and work for someone else and have a specific salary, and you always will be satisfied with that. But as an entrepreneur, you've got a life like a roller coaster. In some points you feel like, okay, my business is the best things in the world, I can do it, I will be really successful. But a day after you will feel like, oh, maybe it's not really good and I can do this in a different way. But a day after you receive an email from someone really important that it can help you, you will be much happier. So your life is like a roller coaster, and you should really be aware of this journey, that there are many ups and downs. You have to accept this journey with all its ups and downs, and with all its stresses, and with all the successful moments as well.
Just the same exact thing Angelo said, the roller coaster thing, like
Yeah,
literally
absolutely.
the same.
Wouldn't imagine doing that for like 20 to 30 years, being an entrepreneur as, like, for example, your main job. I don't think I could handle the stress, to be honest.
I mean, you're a teacher.
It's good at stress.
You can do that.
It's not that stressful.
I mean,
most of the times.
It's not bad as stress, actually. It's a good as stress. You will always have stress even if you're working for someone else. So why not having that as stress for yourself, or what you really love to do for your own business? So at least you're doing something that you're really enjoying. So I'm telling you, if you're really enjoying that, it's not a thing for you. But if you really enjoy this journey, you will love it with all the ups and downs, with all the stressful moments, and with all the calmness. And when you're earning money, when you're losing money, when you win the competition, with everything, you should accept it. It's a package.
Yeah, probably not just the stress, but the uncertainty. That's probably more precisely
that's
what
part
we're
of the game.
Yeah, no, high risk, high reward.
No, but I think it's something that you feel really inspired to do. So if you don't feel connected so much with this field, then
Of course, if you don't like what you're doing, the
but
downs
it's not
will
just
be
about
more.
loving what you're doing, because in that case it would be just, I love it more than you, so I'm an entrepreneur. It's not about that. It's about you feel inspired to be boss of yourself.
I mean, even all the team members actually should be ambitious about this job. So one thing that I really consider when I wanted to hire someone, I always wanted to make sure if they're really passionate about the beauty industry, if they really love the beauty products, they feel motivated to create content for beauty things. But if they are not really motivated with beauty stuff, skincare products, or nutri-cosmetics, they will feel like useless, and they won't be motivated, and they don't put that effort that you expect them to put in the business. So it's really important to have everyone on board who are really agree with the mission of the company and with what you're doing.
Our next topic is about the sustainability topic. I feel we talked about this topic also with Jenny Salazar, another of our guests, and sometimes it's seen with disregards by older generation. I would like to ask you if your company, if your startup, NutriBeauty, take this into account, and if so, does it deliver value for older people?
So I really believe in my responsibility as a brand to the planet, to respect to our environment as well as respecting to our customers. And as our main target markets are young people initially, we can see that it's really important for them that what kind of packaging are we using, how much plastic are we using, but actually we are kind of trying to increase the people awareness about sustainable brands. This is what we're doing in our Instagram and in our LinkedIn. So in that point, I can say we're targeting all our audiences who are not only young people, even older, elderly people and old people. So we're trying to encourage them to actually shift to a really sustainable brands and increase their awareness that why it is really important to use the recyclable package, to actually, taking care of our environment as well as our customer, because it is really important. The planet is not only for us, it's for the other generation as well. So we are responsible, and if every brand think about this, we will have a really better life, not only for us but even for the next generation.
And do you think this resonates well with all the customers? Because sometimes, again, like taking again from his question, like the really, let's say, post Second World War generation, they like kind of more focused. They've always focused on industrialization, not caring about the environment, which is probably kind of the reason why we at this point now. Do you think all of this resonates well with them? Because as a young person, I completely agree with you, but I wouldn't know whether the opposite could be true.
I think they wouldn't be bothered if they see a sustainable brand. I mean, maybe they don't care, but if they see a sustainable brand, they will be maybe more motivated to shop from them. I think so. I've never been an old person, but I think they should actually consider this, because it's not a responsibility of the young people of the society. It is responsibility of every single of us. So old people, young people, and we should kind of educate everyone in this journey, because everyone's attitude, it really matters to the environment. It is not only us who's living in this planet. Everyone's action can have a footprint on our society and our environment. So I think maybe they don't care, or they're not very educated about sustainable brands, but if they see there's a sustainable brand and they can compare it to the other brands who really don't care about their waste, who are producing a lot of plastics and waste for our environment, maybe they just think that, okay, why not? I'm gonna buy this one. I really hope that they think in this way, but I've never been in their shoes. So
what about the price of these kind of products? Because they're usually going to be higher price because of higher costs. And in that respect, sometimes I've heard and seen people talking about the fact that it's a nice idea, but it's too costly. So it might be more affordable only for higher income people, therefore kind of making it like luxury product in a sense, and versus the cheaper one, not environmental friendly, probably going to break in a year, and it's going to become obsolete. So what do you think, and how does NutriBeauty go into this?
Add, young generation are more price sensitive, so this can be a really interesting topic.
Yes, you can't have both at the same time. So we're trying to make it as affordable as possible, because our target market are young adults. They are not earning that much money, but I think it is really important for a long term to be sustainable brand because of our footprint in an environment. We're not talking about 1 week or 1 month or 1 year of selling this kind of products. We're talking about, many years. So we should actually think that maybe it will be costly for us to be a sustainable brand, but actually it's really important to not being a harmful brand for environment. And we could see that there are many people who are really concerned also about this. So we are respecting the need of the customer, who are really concerned actually about a sustainable brands.
And this topic is connected to another question, which is the the country problem. So you mentioned that in Iran, people are not so focused on the sustainable topic. Mm-hmm. So have you ever felt your country as a limit to your ambition? If you ever regret leaving?
The reason why I moved to UK, it was because I really wanted to be my own self, study what I really love to study. I did my bachelor because I really liked it, but I could see that I could study something that I'm more in love with that topic. So that's why I decided to study in a course which is a combination of business and science, and I could only find that course in the UK at University of Warwick and 2 other universities that I applied for all of them. So because I really wanted to study in that subject, I moved to UK. So I didn't stay here because I couldn't find that course in Iran, but I've been always satisfied with my life in here. Definitely there are many opportunities in the UK in comparison with Iran, I can say that. But if I wanted to do business, I could be even maybe more successful in my own country because of the support of my father and my brother. They both are doing business. But I moved to other country, and initially I didn't want to start a business in the UK, but the university kind of guided me. The Warwick Enterprise supported my idea, and I could see that they're actually really helping me with running my own business. So they kind of pushed me with different competitions that I got into. So they gave me the startup visa, they gave me fund, they gave me an office, and I could say yes, those opportunities wouldn't be available for me in Iran. And I was very lucky that I got into that path because of the university that we had, that the Warwick Business School is very famous, and they actually trying to push students to be an entrepreneur, to be proactive and high ambitious people. So I can say because of this atmosphere, I really started to run my own business as a young person. But maybe I always had it in my mind, but I never wanted to start it this early. But the situation and the competitions that I had actually guided me through that way. And I'm really happy for that. But I can say if I were in Iran, I would study more. Maybe I would do my PhD and I wouldn't start a business. Maybe I would take this advice from my father to work for other businesses for 2 years and then by the time running my own startup. But I moved to UK and I got into those opportunities and I stick to them, and I stayed in UK and I started to run my own business in UK. This is something that I've never could imagine, I can say, in advance, but the opportunity came to me and I used that opportunity. Actually, there are something that you're losing when you're moving to other countries, but there are other opportunities yet that you will have that you might not have once you were in your own country.
Would you consider moving the business back in Iran, or
in the future? Yes. So for now, I really want to be in UK and make my brand very successful in the UK. I really hope to achieve this goal by 5 years, and then I want to expand this business in other countries, maybe in Middle East as well, because beauty brands are really successful in Middle East. As for example, Iran is the 4th country in the world who is as a consumer of beauty products. So there is a really high demand. So I was thinking that maybe in the future I can be based in UK but move more to Iran as well to run business in here as well. I was actually thinking about Italy that yes, we could talk about that later, but yes, you always have this in your mind to expand your business.
Because the thing is, as you said, if in Iran there's not really that mentality yet of sustainability, wouldn't it be more effective to be there and trying to change their mind rather than to be in a market where people are already aware of the problem, and so they're probably not going to change their behavior that much, whereas in another country in particular, as you mentioned, it will be probably be more again effective in changing their mind.
Yes, this is one of my aims actually. I really wish to be able to kind of educate people about their health, about sustainability, about their environment and their effects on the planet. So it is not only about selling a product and earning money, it's about educating other people about their health as well. So not everyone would know about that. We're trying to educate people to increase the people awareness about the nutricosmetics and their effects on their health. And when you are more confident about how you look, especially as a young people, you will be more confident and it will also help your well-being. So all these things are really connected to each other, and then you're educating people to have a sustainable life and getting sustainable brands and products. So we are kind of educating people as well as selling just nutricosmetic supplement to them. This is what we're trying to do in our Instagram and our LinkedIn.
And then my next question will probably going to be more of a curiosity in a sense. How did you come up with the idea?
Okay, so when I moved to UK, I could see that drinks, energy drinks, cola, and all juices are very expensive and they're not actually that healthy as you really wish. And I started to make my own drink with the traditional recipe from my own country. So using different seeds like chia seeds and basil seeds and using other ingredients to make it more tastier. And I was consuming that product every night with my dinner for a period of 6 months, and I could see the results on my skin, nails and hair. And I can say most of my friends at university were asking me, what are you doing? And then I moved to Iran after 6 months being in UK, and my family could see me that I'm really, my skin is really healthy. And they asked me, what did you do? And I just told them that this is something that I'm consuming every day. And once I moved back to UK, I went to Warwick Enterprise. I was talking with the graduate officer, Selmira, and I told her the story about the story of this product. And she told me that why not producing it for other people? Everyone, especially young people, are looking for something which is completely plant-based, which is vegan and sustainable and affordable for their skin. And I came across with this idea and tried to develop it. So it was initially like a drink, and then I tried to produce it as a superfood shots. And then I could see if it would be a watery, it needs preservative, and I decided to delete the preservative and gluten from it. So I made it like a powder to make it easier to consume. So it will be like a powder in a small sachet that you can add it to your water, to any drinks or desserts or even a yogurt that you're consuming. And it will have a main macronutrient that your skin will need, like antioxidant, omega-3, omega-6, zinc, calcium. So I decided finally to produce my product. So the story started like that. So I made a lot of changes on the product, I can say, throughout the journey regarding the feedbacks that I received from different panels that I went through. So yep, that was a little bit of a story of NutriBeauties.
And just one last thing, sorry if I keep interrupting you. So you were talking about the way the product has been changing. So were you basically the main tester in the end?
So the reason why I failed one of my panels was exactly the same things as you asking. I was really in love with my idea, but I've never tested my product among the other people to see if they actually really like the taste of the product and how it looks. So I failed that panel, which was the startup visa panel by the Warwick Enterprise. So I went out there and I tested my product among 40 students. So I tested it among people, and I could see 96% of them were really satisfied with the way that it was tasting and with the way that it looks. So they actually were willing to recommend the product to the other people. And then I asked some other people to consume it for a month and write a diary for me and letting me know that if it was helpful for their skin health and if they've been satisfied with how the product was looking. And if there's anything that I really need to consider to make some small changes in the product. So yes, initially it was me who was testing it, but then I went out there and asked other people's feedback.
You have been quite lucky because your university really supported you in your path. But let's put ourselves from a different perspective. And if you are in a university that doesn't have so much money or in a kind of contest country that can support you so much, but you are really aspiring to be an entrepreneur, so what would you be your first step? So let's suppose that you couldn't go to the UK, but you were there in Iran and you wanted to start a business.
I try to connect it to other entrepreneurs firstly, to ask from their supports, so to find good mentors. And then I try to connect to other people who are working in the same industry as I'm willing to get into. So for example, if my industry is more related to beauty industry and a little bit of food industry, I would try to connect to other entrepreneurs in this industry and try to ask about their obstacles that they faced, about the experiences they gained, about how they actually started their business in that specific country, what are the skills and knowledge they needed to gain before running the business. And I would probably work somewhere else in the same industry as I'm wishing to enter for a couple of years to gain more experience, and then saving some monies, because I could win a lot of awards in UK which helped me to actually pay for the things that I really need to pay. But if I were in Iran, I could say I wouldn't have this support, I wouldn't receive these grants, or maybe I could just ask for loans that I was supposed to pay back. So I was saving money in advance before running a business to have enough money in hand, and then I would start my own business by the support of other people. Maybe I would collaborate with other brands. I wouldn't do it alone on myself. But here I'm doing everything by myself without collaborating with others. They've been other people who asked me to collaborate with, but I don't need that because I've got a lot of mentors who can support me. I don't need those knowledges because I have the support of my mentors and my professors at University of Warwick. It is really depends on how much support you may have, because as a young person I definitely need their support because I'm not fully aware of running a business by my own, especially in a new country, so I need them. But if I were in Iran, I could have those supports from my father or from my family members, or I could go to other events to meet different people to gain those experience. So the first, ask from other entrepreneurs in the same industry what they've done and what they needed to learn, and I would definitely work for some other companies firstly before running my own business.
So the only thing I can say, so I totally agree, and I don't want to sponsor myself, but I'm gonna sponsor myself. We hope that we hope that Bline can represent this kind of source of value for these people. Try to engage new people, try to create a sense of community and connect, improve your network and all these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're kind of like the community supports itself and members support each other, in particular if they don't have the ways or they don't go like to university that has that many fun or is involved with that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. So yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you as well. So it's the sense of community that helps you to go into each other and asking for advice, having a mentor. Those are, I think, absolutely necessary things that you need to have.
You already said that your university supported you. You won some scholarships to support this project. Why you think this project achieved many scholarships and all these funds?
Maybe the knowledge that I had that I could bring into the business. So they could see that I'm designing a product. So I'm a person who needs to have a little bit of science background, but at the same time, I've got a little bit of knowledge in business. And I can bring those knowledge together to be a high impact entrepreneur. So basically I can say they trusted in me rather than trusting in product. This is what mostly investors are looking for, a passionate person who has the knowledge to run the business, who can potentially be a good entrepreneur in the future. So they trusted me. I can't say I'm the best person and I was very good, because I'm not. Definitely there are many other people who are much better than me with more experience and more knowledge and you know, but I could convince them that I can do it. You are affecting on the way that people are thinking and seeing you when you're pitching in different competitions. So they trust you and they believe in you and they invest in you. If I want to, you know, summarize it, I can say it's because of the people and the knowledge that they can bring into the business.
So it's not just about what you say, but it's also about how you say it and how you convey the message.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's really important that how you deliver those information to the panel. It is really important about how you dress, how you look, how you use your body language, how you speak, how confident are you and how ambitious are you about the idea. If they don't see that certainly in your face, they wouldn't trust, because they want to make sure you are definitely confident with what you're doing, you're ambitious, and you know what you're doing, you are confident about the path you're in, so they can trust you.
So we're just saying it's like not kind of selling the product, but selling yourself as well.
Yes, exactly. Selling your knowledge in yourself as an entrepreneur, it's so important. So especially if you're pitching for investors in a competition to get into raising some fund, they're kind of investing in your business. They're investing in your ability, in your passion about the business. So if they are sure about you, they can trust this idea.
I mean, this is a really good point. Many people focus maybe a little bit too much on the idea rather than building your knowledge of business and what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. Or I would say also many people maybe focus a little bit too much on the business field in general and not in what they really love. Do you have any other?
No. I like the idea of like kind of being sometimes in between the entrepreneur and the marketing, like a sales agent as well, in a sense, because again, you need to also be able to present. But that, I mean, I would like to keep talking about this for a long time, but time is limited.
Yeah, I know.
Which
maybe
kind of brings us to our like last extra/surprise question.
We'll be so happy if you could join our community and support people in it.
I would love to.
That was one question.
Interrupt there.
I would love to join your community, and thank you so much for this opportunity to letting me to share this entrepreneurial journey with your audience. I was very happy and honored to be here today with you, and I'm more than happy to support you specifically in your audience in any points that I'm able to do. So just let me know, and I'm always there in your community to support other entrepreneurs, to kind of encouraging them to stick with their ideas, to believe in themselves, and focusing on what they really love to do. So I'm happy to do that for sure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure that they will get a lot of things from you, because this discussion that we have, I think it was full of really important messages and key points in the end that I'm sure people will value and understand. So thank you very much also for being here. This is Andrea, Simone, and Dina, and thank you all very much for this chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Thank you.
You're not hanging.
Oh my
No,
God.
no, no.